Hey, I was thinking, and so I wanted to come on here and share my thoughts with you. I have a few moments before I have to leave for an appointment, but last week I came on here and I was talking about transformation. I asked the question, do you want to transform your life? And transforming your life starts here. It starts with the mind. Change your thoughts, you change your life. I shared with you how every experience that we have is neutral. We get to decide whether it's good or bad. And I don't think anything is bad. And and I'm being generic when I say that because everything is a lesson. Nothing is ever wasted. Nothing is ever wasted. So we get to decide how we choose to view a certain situation. We can view it as something that we're to learn here while we're on earth, or we can go into victimhood and choose it as bad and woe is me. But I also mentioned in that video that I wanted to come back and talk about Wes Moore. Wes Moore is the Maryland of governor. He's the governor of Maryland, and he is dynamic. I've known this for years, ever since I saw him with Oprah on Super Soul Sunday. And when I saw him on that, this probably has been, I don't know, 15 years ago. When I saw him on that show, I knew he was special. The words that he said were powerful, and to listen to his story and all that he's done and accomplished over the years, amazing. And he was still young. I mean, he still is young now, but he was really young then. But he had said something about work. And he said, after years going to the same job, you realize you've just been going through the motion. Or you're in a job that everyone thinks you should be in, but there's no fulfillment. And I think a lot of people feel that way. Either you're just going through the motion, it's a job, or you're doing something that people had put on you, i.e., doctor, lawyer, engineer, but there's no fulfillment there. And so you're literally dying on the inside. I think a lot of people can relate to those words. But he said, I'd rather flirt with failure than to never dance with joy. I would rather flirt with failure than never dance with joy. A lot of times we stay complacent because it's comfortable. And I always say, I don't think it's comfortable. I think there's discomfort. I think your soul is trying to emerge in a different way. I think you are doing what's familiar, but there's discomfort there because you know that there's more for you to do. The only way to live a life that matters is through a life of service. You have to find out what the needs are for other people and fulfill those. Excuse me. I remember years ago, sorry, I remember years ago hearing him say that every moment that you stay somewhere longer than what you're supposed to, you will become extraordinarily ordinary. And I believe that. I know in my last job, that is how I felt. I loved what I did. I knew what I did was meaningful work, but I also knew that I was not growing and that I needed to spread my wings. And so I had to take a chance because I wanted to dance with joy. And I needed to experience that. You know, we all want to be extraordinary in some way, but if we're not passionate about something, um, we will never be able to fall into our own truth. So find something that you're passionate about. You know, the greatest job is when you mesh what the world's greatest needs are. When you're helping other people. I love to use the analogy that Les Brown says, or I heard him say years ago. I don't know if he still says this or not, but he talked about how you can't spray perfume on someone else without getting some on yourself. When you do for others, help others, you're helping yourself too. It comes back. So it's kind of selfish in a way, but it makes you feel good because you know you're doing something that's meaningful. And if you ask the question, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, like, what would you do for free? Go do that and make some money. A lot of times people spend their times doing things that they don't want to. Seek the needs that needs to be done and go do it. The one last thing that I want to share, I mean, I have a lot of notes with Wes Moore. I said Wes Brown, probably because I was saying Les Brown earlier. But he has a brother named Wesley. Go figure. So it's Leslie and Wesley, I think. But Wes Moore said something that outside of the other one that really struck a chord with me. And he was talking about this because when he was on there this time, he was talking about his book, The Other Wes Moore. And it was another guy who grew up in his neighborhood in Baltimore, close to him, who was named Wes Moore too. The irony, right? But this person has a life sentence where the Wes Moore I'm talking about is now the governor. But he was a Rhodes Scholar. He had done so many different things and lived a totally different life than the one who was in prison. And he had interviewed him. And he said that people live up to their expectations. People expected this Wes Moore to be somebody great. And he lived up to that expectation, where the other one did not have that same direction. So I'm just sharing that for all of us who interact with little kids or big kids, give them something, give them something, have some kind of expectations. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. The last thing I wanted to share that he said is don't let people who don't matter too much. Don't let people who don't matter too much. Don't give them that energy because they don't matter. All right, that is it for today. I gotta go. I have a meeting, but I just wanted to come on and share some words with you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing you the next time. Know that I love you. Bye bye.